Welcome to another market update video. In this video, I'll be covering Bitcoin and two of the main altcoin longs that I'm looking to enter. But starting off here with Bitcoin, I want to discuss the lower time frame price action. Higher time frame, I think everything's perfectly fine. I believe Bitcoin will go higher. Lower time frame though is what I'm particularly concerned with, and there's a few reasons for that. Now, where my concern comes in is this entire pattern from Bitcoin. So Bitcoin consolidated but grinded up within the consolidation period and eventually broke out from the all-important 106.1k level. I'm sure you all are well aware of that level now after watching these videos. But the issue with the breakout is we are still grinding higher. Now, when Bitcoin does this, it's a massive concern for me because of all of the built up liquidity below all of these lows. My thought process when it comes to liquidity is price is attracted to the levels with the most amount of liquidity that's easiest for price to get to. So really, I envision all of the stop losses down here as a magnet for price. So let's say you are in a long position, maybe you longed late somewhere within here, fine. Where would your stop loss be? Realistically, your stop loss would be at the origin of the move higher. Again, what if you longed above 106.1, somewhere in here? Where would your stop loss be? Maybe a little bit tighter here, maybe below any of these lows. So the idea and the thought process is that any of these lows could be liquidation levels and stop loss levels. So because of that, price is unable to break out higher here. So it needs liquidity in order to go higher. So typically, when you see a pattern like this, the move and the target for a move down is going to be the origin of the grind higher, which would be somewhere here, so around the 104.6. In addition to that, when you're looking at the origin of the move higher, you're looking for any kind of confluence, which is very normal. Any trade setup you're looking to take, you're looking for levels of confluence. So yes, we have the origin here, but we also have this H4 level at 103.5. We have the range equilibrium at 102.6 as well. So this sell-off that could potentially be coming could turn into something a little bit larger because there's more confluence a bit lower than where the origin of the move up higher is. So how I would play this is I'm looking for a quick wick below this area. So if that happens and there's a wick lower, price closes above the lows of the consolidation period, that would be a long trigger with an invalidation point below the low that was set here. If that does not happen and price sells off further, of course, the next area of interest is going to be the equilibrium at 102.6. Also, some factors that don't have to do with TA is kind of the grand scheme of things. We had stocks ripping to a new all-time high. We have Coinbase just ripping over the last week. We have some other external factors that are bullish on paper, but price isn't necessarily reflecting that. So that's also a little bit of a concern for the Bitcoin price action, that we didn't get a real larger leg higher before the sell-off that I believe is going to happen soon. So that's also a factor to consider. Typically, I just kind of believe in my lines and trust in my lines, and I don't really take anything external into account. But it's definitely worth noting and just definitely worth being aware of. Also, another factor that I think is worth considering is the altcoin reaction when Bitcoin has been really not doing anything and alts have taken a decent sized hit. So at the beginning of the week, I said that my main altcoin longs I was looking for was Fartcoin and Hype. So let's go through those charts and share why I have delayed those longs for now. So my level to long Fartcoin was 0.95. It was based on this H1 and H4 breakout point right in here. We see price bounce a little bit from it, and we had a larger bounce from here. So I decided to hold off on a Fartcoin long position because of my thoughts on Bitcoin. I'm very concerned with the Bitcoin price action, as you could tell, so I decided to wait a little bit. Now, obviously, Fartcoin did provide a bounce of 8%, but when it's something like this, I really try and keep myself grounded and be realistic with myself. So let's say I actually did take this Fartcoin position. I probably would have looked to long somewhere here, I would have front run the level a little bit. My invalidation point would have been very difficult because I don't really have a consolidation period to work with below here. I don't have any kind of long lower wick. Again, let's pretend that I filled here. So I don't really have a low to work with. So realistically, my stop loss probably would have been somewhere below here because I have the protection of this consolidation period, this low and this low. So that's kind of all the protection levels I have for my invalidation point. So what I really try my best to do is be realistic. My take profit one would have been probably here. I would have front run these highs. Fine. So yes, Fartcoin did bounce exactly where I thought it would, but would I have taken profit? Probably not. Would I be now looking at a full retrace of my entry? Probably. So I really don't let that negatively impact my mindset whatsoever. If anything, that just gives me more confidence in my levels, which I already have. So yeah, sometimes that could really affect people where you have these levels marked, you don't take the trade, you see it bounce, you're like, oh my goodness, it's up 8% from my entry. This would have been such a great trade. And then you see it fully retrace. So it's really not worth me getting upset over it. Like I said, this would be a full retrace. I would not be taking profit early despite this rejection because I know myself and I'm just being realistic. Anyway, Fartcoin, I am still interested in the long position. I am still interested at this 0.95 level. Now, I'm not interested on a retest like this. As you've seen, I'm not interested here. If anything, I'm interested in whatever action happens below here and then whatever reclaim, if and when that happens, that is when I'm interested in the Fartcoin long position. So some consolidation below the level, a reclaim of the level, and then that's when I will look to fill the long position. So I could still use the same exact level I was looking to long, but I'm just waiting a little bit longer and having a bit more patience and letting some price action play out a bit more. What's great about that is I'll be able to have an invalidation point based on the consolidation period, which is ideal. As you saw in my, made up scenario, I didn't have a really clean invalidation level, which is going to be a huge issue for that long position. Now, if that doesn't happen, and let's say Fartcoin holds strong at here and there's chop at the level, if this price action happens right here, but then instead of a move down, we have a move up, then I have that entry point as well. So I'm still going to use this 0.95 area as an entry point. It's just going to take a bit longer and I need more price action to develop before I actually take it. So hype is one that I was very interested in at the start of the week. I'm still interested. It's a very similar setup to Fartcoin where you have an H1 level, an H1 support and resistance slope. You have an H1 break down and break out point. Price is now revisiting the break point, and typically I would enter into a long position somewhere as close to the break point as possible, especially because we had a quick move down before the reclaim. But again, because of my thoughts on Bitcoin and because of really the reaction from the level, this is really not a good reaction. We're still selling off into the level, so it's not as aggressive as I would like. So because of that, I'm going to give this a bit more time to develop and wait for a very similar setup to Fartcoin where maybe something like this happens here. And then instead of the move down, we have a move up from there. That would be a great invalidation point for me. And I could use that for an argument going forward. If that does not happen though, I will be using this 33 level as an entry target as well. The 33 level is important because of the daily chart. All right, so you can see price doesn't really spend too much time below the 33 level. So I would be looking to see a certain pattern develop within this green box to see if I would enter into that position. But that's really what I'd be waiting for hype. I think it's a great time to exercise patience. I think it's a really great time to see what's going to happen with the market, especially because we're getting this price action just before the weekend, and the weekend is known for low liquidity, BS headlines, and really anything else negative you'd like to attach to the weekend. But again, just because I'm looking for some kind of sell-off does not mean I'm higher time frame bearish in any way. I will be looking to buy this next sell-off if and when it does happen, and I'm looking forward to it if I get it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any further questions, comments, anything like that, please feel free to ask, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.